did everyone write this? ये लिख लिया है? ये जो हमने किया था. What is this one? You had all taken a screenshot, no? Everyone online. Everyone's written this down. So then we can proceed to the next some other topic. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Now let's here. Question 9. Ram buys 10,000 shares of X Limited at 22 and obtains a complete hedge of shorting 400 Nifty. So he has purchased some shares, and to hedge it, he has sold the Nifties. Right? He closes out his position at the closing price of the next day, at which point the share price of X has dropped 2% and the Nifty futures has dropped 1.5. What is the overall profit or loss on this set of transactions? Now see, he's got two positions. The first position he's got in shares, and the other position is got in Nifties. Huh? Now shares may, what has he done on day one? Buy how many shares? 10,000 shares at rupees 22. Right? And on day one itself, he has sold 400 Nifties at 1100. Right? And then they are saying he closes out his position at the closing price of the next day. So on day 2, he closes out his position. That means he would sell 10,000 shares. At what price will he sell the 10,000 shares? They are saying he closes out his position at the closing price of the next day, at which point the share price of X has dropped 2%. That means at 22 minus 2%. 21.56. And day 2. Now Nifties he would close out, meaning he would buy 400 Nifties at, now what has happened to Nifty? Nifty has dropped 1.5%. So 1100 minus 1.5%. 1083.5. Now profit or loss, whatever. See, it's a loss 0.44, and यहाँ पे profit 16.5. Okay. Total loss will be 10,000 into 0.44. That's rupees 4,400. And total profit would be 400 into 16.5. 6,600. Now they have asked what is the overall profit or loss. So net profit now this is as far as the sum and the solution is concerned, but let us just take this one step ahead. Would you call this a perfect hedge? ये जो इसने किया है, whatever he has done, would you say that he has hedged himself perfectly? No. Why? Because if it was a perfect hedge, the profit loss would be 0. Okay. So that means how many Nifties should he have shorted to get a perfect hedge? How many Nifties should he have shorted to get a perfect hedge? Hmm? कैसे 1089? मुझे यहाँ पे 0.44 का लॉस हुआ है और शेयर्स तो मुझे बहुत सारे भी उतने अमाउंट का प्रॉफिट मिलना चाहिए 0.44 का, हाँ 267. Yes, 267. बस 0.44 का मत देखो, तुमको 4400. See, there are two ways to approach this. You have a loss of 4400. तुम्हारा 4400 का लॉस है टोटल. यहां से तुमको प्रॉफिट आना चाहिए 4400 का, तब जाके परफेक्ट है जो होता है. Now here your profit per unit is 16.5. So to get a 4400 profit, divide by 16.5 will tell you the number of units to do it. 267, right? Or the other way to do it is, how much has the stock fallen by? 2%. And how much has Nifty fallen by? So what does that tell you? So beta, how will you calculate? 0.75. See, you can, beta is, see, you're comparing the change in stock with respect to change in market. Right? Market itna se change hoga, to stock kitna change hoga. That's what you calculate, right? Which means, which is the base, the stock or the market? Market is the base. Now, how much is the market changed by? Market has changed by 1.5. That means base 1.5. 2. So this gives you how much? 1.33. So that's 2 divided by 1.5. 1.33, right? This is your beta. Now, how did I teach you how to determine the hedge value? Pichhle lecture mein. Exposure value into beta. Now, what is the exposure value? 10,000 into 22. So, exposure value. $10,000 into 22. That's 2,20,000. Beta 1.33. Therefore, hedge value is 2,20,000 into 1.33. 293. 292,600. This is your hedge value. Itna ka Nifty short karna hai. And what is the price of Nifty? Nifty price 1100. So number of Nifties to be sold. Because this very sum, they could twist it and say, okay, boss, he has purchased this many shares, Nifty itna se drop ho raha hai, stock itna se drop ho raha hai, design a perfect hedge for him. Then you'll have to find beta and find it. So the same problem, they could just change a little bit and give it. Okay, so you can take this down and then
whenever shares number of stock
तो
forward price
प्राइस तो जो मार्केट में है वही है, यू कैन चेंज द प्राइस, राइट? No, I think strong for a perfect edge. Again, done. हो गया? Done? चलो. Now, this was question 9. Let's do question 10. BSE index is 5,000. Value of portfolio is 10 lakh 10. Risk-free interest rate is 9% per annum. Dividend yield on the index is 6% per annum. Beta of portfolio is 1.5. We assume that a futures contract on the BSE index with 4-month maturity is used to hedge the value of the portfolio over the next 3 months. One future contract is for 50 times the index. Based on the above information, calculate the price of the contract and the gain on the short position of futures if index turns out to be ignorant. See now, for how many months do you perceive a risk on the portfolio? 3 months. Right? Now, ideally, you would like to hedge this using a 3-month futures, right? But suppose you call up the broker and the broker says, sir, 3-month future is not available. 2-month is available, 4-month is available. Which will you use? Remember in Forex, we learned always the following month, 4 months. So now again, same thing is happening here. We assume that a futures contract on the BSE index with 4-month maturity is traded. So we'll buy the 4-month, but then at the end of the 3-month, we need to square off everything because the portfolio risk is only till 3 months, right? Now, they are saying the gain on short position of futures. Now, first of all, will you buy the index or will you sell the index on day 1? Why? ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब, so then I have to sell the futures. If I buy the portfolio, then I can't buy the futures. जवाब ऐसा होना चाहिए, sir. Beta is positive and we have a long position in shares. Therefore, to hedge it, we would need to sell the futures, right? And what are they asking us to find out in the second part? ये जो तुमने futures, the futures which you have sold, उसमें finally profit loss कितना होगा? Okay. Now, first of all, let us talk about this. A. What will be the price of future contract? Yes, you have sold the futures, no? So at what price have you sold it? At what price have you sold these futures? 15,50,000 is the value of the futures. What price have you sold it? $5,000 is the index right now. At what price have you sold the 4-month future? 4,500. 4,500 is the index which turns out after 3 months. Okay, 1 minute. Let's see, you're seeing this is the Nifty 2103, right? Top. Now, if you wanted to, if I told you that, look, this is the Nifty as of today, right? And you have sold the 3-month Nifty. At what price would you have sold the 3-month Nifty? हाँ अभी कैसा आया 20,000 सर दिस इज द स्पॉट निफ्टी सो 3 month निफ्टी आई वुड हैव सोल्ड इट आइडियली यू वुड से सर जो भी स्क्रीन में भाव दिखेगा उसमें आई वुड सेल इट राइट बट दे हैव नॉट गिवन द प्राइस हियर so that means we have to find no at what price is the 3 month nifty would be now in this case they are asking for a 4 month nifty right so the price of the future contract will be future is equals to spot into 1 plus Rn because the rate is not continuous. एक minute, there's dividend also, no? So it would be what? Spot? Huh? 1 plus? Device कुछ कर नहीं रहा है. This is an index future. This is an index future, no? So R minus D raised to the power n. So that means 5,000 into 1 plus. Can you calculate this? Price of the future, 4 month. Calculate this, then I'll tell you. Yes, Mihika. कितना है 50 एक मिनट हाँ 50 सॉरी ये एक मिनट यार मैंने इधर गलत लिखा तो आप लोग भी गलत कैलकुलेट कर रहे हो 5,000 है ना स्पॉट हाँ तो कितना है 5,050 1 plus 0.09 minus 0.06 into 4 by 12 that is 5050 Achha, now this thing which you have found out is it the theoretical price of the 4 month future or is it the actual price of the 4 month future theoretical now in the sum had they given the actual price of 4 month future then we'll say okay we'll hedge using the 4 month future at that price actual price but in this sum since they have not given the price of the future what are we supposed to assume theoretical price is the actual price prevailing in the market right okay so now they are saying gain on short positions of future that means he would have sold futures at 5050 how will you find the gain or loss on this short position I'm very clearly telling you there are two positions one usne stock khareed rakha hai is purchased stock and the second to hedge this he has sold the futures right the question only wants you to find out ये जो short position है इसमें profit या loss कितना हुआ है ये बताना how will you find out पहले ये लिख लो part A write this down then try to figure out the second part Hmm? That's the profit. How did you find out?
So we calculate the price of the future contract after 3 months. If the 4,500 index, that is 3 months later.
Mhm.
Future price, this is 4 months, so we calculate it for 3 months. Into 3
एक minute, 3 months is 5050 as of today. Huh?
4 months is fine.
Huh? This is the 4-month contract, no? This 5050 is the price of the future 4-month. Okay, so
So I calculated the price for 3 months.
3 months today.
Yeah, because the index is 4,500 after 3 months.
So, I mean, think of it. You've all seen, I've shown you on the screen how it is traded, right? Now, we know that futures are traded for 3 months on the screen, right? Now, let us presume it was traded for 4 months. One second, let me just go here. You see, there are, sorry, 1 minute, let me just change the display mode. See, these are the expiry dates, and so 30th November contract today, that's on 14th September, whatever today's date is, 15th September. On 15th September, the 30th November contract is trading at 23.95, the last traded price. Okay, so now what are you finding out? अभी तुम क्या निकाल रहे हो?
After this.
As of today, on 15th September, you are calculating the 3-month future price.
So I'm calculating it after this, like what will be the price after?
एक मिनट, ये जो कैलकुलेशन तुमने किया है, whatever calculation you are doing, are you doing it on 15th September? So on 15th September, one, you have already valued the 4-month contract, and then you are trying to find the 3-month contract. Okay, 1 minute. On 15th September, what is the transaction you are going to do? Sell the 4-month future. That's the only transaction you're going to do. So on 14th September, why are you valuing the 3-month future contract now? I mean, see, you would need to value something today only if you're going to do something today in that. So as of today, you're only going to sell the 4-month future, and that 4-month future price you've already found out, 5050. Right? Now what? Now, why are you trying to find the 3-month future as of today? Acha, let me, ऐसा directly answer नहीं बताऊंगा मैं. Let me ask you something. I am only making one statement. Okay? You sold gold today, 50,000 rupees. You sold gold today, 50,000 rupees. My next question to you is, how much is the total profit loss you made? Now, can you calculate? No. What are the information that you want? हाँ? कितने में? कब? आज की 3 महीने के एंड पे. एक मिनट. Today you sold gold at 50,000. And I'm asking, how much profit loss have you made? तुमने पहले खरीदा नहीं है. You've just sold gold at 50,000 today. How much profit loss have you made after 3 months? Depends on what are the things you need. हाँ? 3 महीने के एंड पे प्राइस कब रहेगा, right? Okay. Now, वो प्राइस आप कब कैलकुलेट करेंगे? आज कैलकुलेट करेंगे कि उसी दिन? उसी दिन पता चलेगा, ठीक है? You sold 4-month future 5050 today. Now you're saying, sir, I'll cover it up. But the covering up will happen at the price which is going to prevail for this 4-month futures at the end of 3 months. Okay, that's what. Okay, coming back to my gold example. So you said, sir, I need the price at which I'm going to cover it. What else do you need? You sold gold at 50,000. I'm asking, what is the total profit loss you made? Quantity. Common sense. You sold gold 50,000. How much profit? You need two things. What was the price of the gold on the date when I covered it? And how much quantity? Right? Now here, what is the question they are asking? The gain on short position of futures if the index turns out to be 4,500 in 3 months. We'll come to this. First thing you need is, how much futures have you sold, re baba? पहले वो तो निकालो. कितना फ्यूचर प्रॉफिट लॉस निकालने के लिए you need the difference into the quantity. First find out how much futures have you sold. How will you find that out? Exposure value into beta, that gives you the value of the hedge, divided by 5050 will give you the number of futures that you sold on day one. That is 50% of the problem. Kitna quantity. Next, we need to know the price. We'll come to that. एक मिनट रुको. पहले एक एक करके. B. हाँ. B is number of future lots, futures contracts sold. Exposure value. Exposure value is already given, no? 10,10,000. Acha, एक minute. Before I come to this, एक minute. Just 1 minute. Let's go to this market. Supposing today you sell this 30th November wala, the last one. You sell the 30th November futures at 20,395. Now, for calculation purpose, let us consider this as 20,400. You sold this. Now, this contract will expire on 30th November. But now let us say that on 30th October, you decide to square this contract off. Now, my question to you is, what will be the price of this future contract on 30th October? What will be the price of this 30th November contract on 30th October? Because that is the price at which you will square it off, no? Because आप 30th October को जब ये screen खोलोगे, when you will open the screen on 30th October, remember this November contract will be appearing right at the top. I mean, middle maybe. No, it will be at the top because the October contract would have expired. So this November would be at top. What price would appear here at the top on 30th October? How will you tell me that? Interest rate. किसमें? ये प्राइस में से. एक मिनट. No. 1 minute. एक मिनट. ये जो right now what is appearing on the screen, 30th November, 2395. How has this price been arrived at? Spot as of today plus 3 months interest. So on 30th October, how will the November contract be arrived at? Spot कब का? 14 September का कि 30th October वाला spot? You will take the spot as on 30th October, and on that you will add the 1 month interest. That will give you the price at which the November contract will be trading in October. बराबर है? Okay. In this sum, how many months futures are you trading? 4. You will square it off at the end of 3 months. That means you have to find out at what price will you square off this future contract. और उसका जो price होगा, that will be the price at the end of 3 months spot plus 1 month interest. Online, are you all following me? 1 minute, we'll come to that. See this, okay. I'll do one more round of explanation. Exposure value this much. Beta is 1.5. Therefore, hedge value is 10 lakh 10 into 1.5, 15 lakh 15,000. Price of 4-month Nifty futures 5050. Therefore, number of futures to be sold how much? 300. 300 lots or 300 Nifties? 300 Nifty. So how many lots should I tell the broker? 100. No. One future contract is for 50 times the index. Lot size 50. Therefore, number of lots to be sold now in this sum, number of lots does not have relevance, but it might have relevance if the sum might say that per lot margin is so much. Then you might have to calculate the number of lots and then the margin, and then margin से अपने को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. Interest on margin. You need the interest on margin. Okay, chalo. Number of lots to be sold is 6. So, on day 1, sell 6 lots of 4-month Nifty futures at 5050. On day 90, you will buy 6 lots of 4-month futures. Understand, don't get confused by this 4-month. This 4-month future is just the name of that contract, right? The 4-month future, which will have one month of residual maturity. At some price which we will refer to as working note 1. Working note 1, price of 1 month futures. बराबर ना? You are calculating the 1 month future, right? इसका price क्या होगा? What will be the price? हाँ, उस दिन का spot plus 1 month interest, right? So the future price would be 4,500 into 1 plus 0.09 minus 0.06 dividend yield. into 1/12. Point 0.03 divided 4511.25. 451, sorry, 4511.25. So will there be a profit or a loss? Profit. Profit per, okay, this is profit per lot or per Nifty? Huh? This per lot. एक minute. This 5,000 is the price per Nifty or per lot? Huh? Per lot. Per Nifty होता है रे भाई. It's per Nifty. That means this profit is per Nifty. 5050 minus 4511.25. अभी जो स्क्रीन पे 19,000 देखे ना कुछ 20,000 something. That is the price per Nifty or a lot of 50 Nifties? Per Nifty, no? तो फिर ये भी तो per Nifty हुआ 5,000. This is 538.75 profit per Nifty. So total profits will be how much? How much? Total profits would be 6 lots into 50 into 538.75. 161,625. This is my profit on my future positions. Hmm? Anyone wants me to scroll up, down? बता देना. Okay, now let us just discuss what do you think will happen to the market today if it opens? I'm asking you real-time questions. What do you think will happen to the market today when it opens? It will open at 9:15, no? What do you think will be the direction of the market today? It will go down. Okay. Online. Wix is up. Okay. Anyone else?
Initially, it will go up and end of the day,
Okay. Initially, it will go up and end of the day, it will go down. Okay. Now, 1 minute. Supposing the market allowed you to trade right now, right? Let's talk about the 28th September. Wala, okay? Those of you who think the market will go up, what will you do to this futures? Will you buy it or sell it? You'll buy it, no? So what is the price? 2186. So let's say 1 minute. Huh? Now, we are saying, assuming that we are allowed to trade now, but even if you're not allowed to trade now, let us say we put this trade exactly right at the moment the market opens. So you're saying people who are saying long. Now, 1 minute. Only Vivek has said it will go upwards. What about the others? What do you think that will happen to market today? Okay. How many of you online, everyone, how many of you say that, sir, idea ही नहीं है, sir? See, there are only 3 things that can happen. Either you think the market can go up, or you can think the market can go down, or the third is you have no fucking clue what is going to happen. Nothing. पता ही नहीं है क्या है. Okay? मतलब पता नहीं क्या मतलब not पता नहीं मार्केट किस तरफ जाएगा. पता नहीं सर क्या बात कर रहे हैं. ये क्या निफ्टी क्या हो रहा है. Is it linked to demand? मुजम्मिल, yes, it is linked to demand and supply of shares. ये सब बातें किताबों में बहुत अच्छी लगती है. But now I'm asking you a real time question. Today, when the market opens in another 1.5 hours, tell me, is the market going to go up or down? I need your answer in binary, up or down. That's it. There can be no maybe, depends, देखना होगा sir. वो सब कुछ नहीं. Up or down today? What? Atharva says market will go up. Okay, Atharva, why do you think the market will go up? Why do you think the market will go up? Very volatile now, trading at all high levels. Sentiment is bullish though. Okay. So Viraj, you think the market will go up? Yes. Okay. And Muzammil, you say market will go down. Why do you think it will go down? Because futures are going up and futures are based on spot. No, but then if the spot prices collapses, the future will also collapse. Huh? Kai bar yes, kai bar no. Sometimes what happens is that in the pre-trading session, no, they will artificially jack up the prices so that people like you will come and buy at 9:30 and they will dump the price. Right? Because like you say, you know that's a 9 to 9:15 I can forecast. Then your high net worth individual beta, he also know that 9 to 9:15 में लोग forecast करेंगे. So they will artificially inflate that prices during that time and then dump it at 9:15. Okay. See, now why I'm asking you this question is, I'm not saying when you say market will go up, I want to know the reason. Now, whether that reason is justifiable, correct, wrong, that's a different story altogether, and I respect that. You can have your own views. You may be right. I can have my own views and I may be wrong. But एक view होना जरूरी है, boss. Being without a view is like being an idiot. You have a view, you may be right, you may be wrong. That's a different thing altogether. But view ही नहीं है, पता ही नहीं सर, मार्केट तो हम 15 दिन से तो पेपर ही नहीं पढ़े, पता नहीं. That's an moron. वो नहीं बन सकते हैं अपन बॉस. हम सही गलत हो सकते हैं. We can't be an idiot. कि पता ही नहीं सर क्या मार्केट होता है, क्या सेंसेक्स होता है, हम तो फॉलो ही नहीं करते हैं. You can't be that. We are aiming for finance professionals. इसलिए I want to know the reason. Why do you think it will go up or why do you think it will go down? Viraj ने बोला sir, very volatile, now trading at all high levels, sentiment is bullish. See, बहुत अच्छा logic दिया है विराज ने. Sir, markets are trading at an all-time high, right? Which means to some extent the market will be overpriced. That means logically market नीचे आना चाहिए. But then he is saying, but the sentiment is bullish. जो undercurrent है market में, वो bullish ही है. So even though there is overpricing, the market will go up. Now, whether he's right or wrong, like I said, that's a different story altogether. Okay, but he has got a thinking. Muzammil, you said down. Why down? Why? Any particular reason? No clue. हाँ, देखा? See, ये अंधेरे में मारा पत्थर. That is precisely what I don't want. Okay. Anyways, chalo. Now, see, now this is something that no one can teach you. This understanding the rhythm of the market. Okay. For example, आप लोग चलती गाड़ी से उतरते हो, right? Now you all know that उतर के थोड़ा फिर दौड़ना पड़ता है. Now वो कितना दौड़ना पड़ता है? Can anyone teach you? You have to judge that. No one can teach you. Same way, whether the market is going to go up, down, that gut feeling, no one can really teach you. But वो आएगा कैसे? How will it come? How did you know that train से उतर के इतना ही भागना है, इससे ज्यादा नहीं भागना है? How did you know that? How did you learn that? How did you learn that? Practice. 3-4 बार उतरे तो आ गया. 3-4 दिन, महीना भर स्टॉक मार्केट फॉलो करोगे, वो आएगा. You will be able to understand what we call as market ki chal, chalan, that pulse, that rhythm. Market has, see, you have to understand the market as a living organism, because finally market comprises of whom? Us only, no? Right? So like our body, our heart throbs, the market throbs, और उसका एक rhythm होता है, उसका एक pulse होता है, वो जानना जरूरी है. Because finally I say, like, it's like, you know, surfing. आप लोग surfing देखे हो ना, waves में जो लोग surf करते हैं, right? Waves are totally unpredictable, right? But those surfers, before surfing, they watch the ocean for half an hour, 45 minutes, and then they get that rhythm. Okay, every 2-3 minutes, maybe it will come, that big wave will come, and then they surf it. Same thing happens in market. It's totally random movement, but you've got to observe it to get that pulse. Now, today, possibly Viraj might turn out to be true. The sentiments are bullish. Market शायद ऊपर ही खुलेगा. Okay. Now, ऊपर खुलेगा, तो let us presume that we are taking a long position at 2186. ठीक है? Let's keep an eye on the clock. 9:15. Let's again go back here and see what happens. As of right now, we'll presume that we have purchased, we have taken a long position in September. ठीक है? चलो. We'll keep a track on this. 9 to 9:15, Atharva, that we'll come to later. Right now, we'll look at the basics of position taking. Chalo. Achha, what is the lot of a Nifty contract on the NSE? What is the lot size of a Nifty contract? Can you buy 1 unit of Nifty? No. So you have to buy it in lots. What is the lot size? 50. Now, I'm asking you a question. Suppose you purchase this contract now. You purchase this contract now. Okay. What is the margin you'll have to pay? If you purchase this contract right now, what is the margin you have to pay? 10% off. 50 into 2186. How much? That's the margin you have to pay. But that's the margin for one lot. One lot. And normally traders don't do in one lot. Because when you trade in one lot, no, then you don't have the maneuverability space to book part profits or to average. Right? So normally we trade in about 3 or 4 lots. So that if the price slightly goes up, I'll book part of the profit so that my average cost of the remaining comes down. Right? So that means if you take 3 or 4 lots, you'll have to give 3 or 4 lakhs as margin, roughly. Okay, chalo. So now you have seen how the margin is calculated. Now let's look at question 13. 11, 12 will come and do later. Acha, now, before we go any further in this beta concept, how do you calculate beta? How do you, what is beta actually? Okay, that's the financial definition. But how do you calculate? Beta is finally a number, right? How do you calculate that number? By using? No, that is not beta. By using the risk-free rate and the market rate, what you are calculating is expected return. You say risk-free plus beta into RM minus RF. Right? But now I'm attacking the very base. How the hell do you calculate this? अभी तक तो क्वेश्चन में दिया रहता था बीटा इज 1, so you used to calculate. ये नंबर कहां से आता है? Does this just it appears or someone is calculating? Someone is calculating. So what is the process of calculating this? Okay, and so you have two set of prices of stocks and prices of the Nifty in two columns, right? तो देख के बोल दूं बीटा, हाँ तो क्या करें? Standard deviation, no, you have to understand something. Here we are talking about change in stock price. Sunil, that's the definition. I'm asking, how do you calculate? When I say that the stock's beta is 1.2, ये 1.2 आया कैसे? हाँ? No. No. How do you? I mean.
मतलब अगर मेरा जो चार्ट है
हाँ.
1% दिखा तो मेरा प्राइस पे क्या 1% दिखा था?
कैसे? How do you calculate that? How do you translate it into a number? When you have two sets of data, right? How do you establish the relationship between these two and say, okay, sir, iska beta 1.2. What is the process that is used? Correlation coefficient. Yes, Atharva, variance is used for correlation and coefficient. Finally, you would calculate standard deviation, ये कितना ये करता और ये कितना करता, and then you establish the correlation coefficient between these two. Right? So you first establish the standard deviation of one portfolio, standard deviation of another portfolio, and then you establish the correlation coefficient of that. It's purely a statistical process. Okay. Now, चलो अभी इसके बारे में और we'll have to discuss much more about this. On April 1, 2015, an investor has a portfolio consisting of 8 securities shown as below. So he's given 8 securities. Now, the thing is, when we say that ITC's beta is 1, right? That means if the market moves by 10%, ITC stock will move by 10%. Similarly, Wipro will have its own beta. HDFC will have its own beta. All individual shares will have its own individual beta. Okay. But when you create a portfolio out of these shares, are you interested in the individual shares beta or are you interested in your portfolio beta? Okay. And how would you calculate the portfolio beta? given that you have individual shares which have their own betas and you have created a portfolio. Yes, Muzammil, the weighted average beta. The weighted average beta of these individual stocks will become the beta of your portfolio. Okay. Now, in the earlier sum, the sum which we just did, 10 lakh 10 was the value of his portfolio, right? और उसके नीचे जो बीटा दिया था वो किसका था? Portfolio beta. Right? Now, if you truly want to study finance, you will have to first learn how to calculate beta of individual stocks, which is purely a statistical process. And once you have calculated the beta of stocks, you create a portfolio with a particular beta. Okay, now wait. Let's say you created a portfolio जिसका beta 1.3 है. Now, did you create this beta or did this portfolio just happen because you accumulated certain stocks? Listen to my question carefully. You collected some few stocks, and after you collected the few stocks, you calculated the portfolio beta, and you saw that the portfolio beta is 1.3. Now, my question is, did you consciously create this 1.3 or did it happen by chance? आपने stock खरीदते गए और एक portfolio बनाया, फिर घर आके you decided to calculate the portfolio beta and you realize it's 1.3. Did you consciously target 1.3 or did this 1.3 just happen as a result of your creating the portfolio? Creating the portfolio, right? Now we will have to do something else also. What if I give you a target beta? ऐसे मार्केट में जाके randomly सब्जी नहीं खरीदोगे. You will buy the shares in such a manner that your portfolio beta should be X. Right? Okay, one. Second, let's say you already have a portfolio. You already have a portfolio. उसका एक particular beta है. Now I'm telling you, okay, let's get some numbers. Your existing portfolio has got a beta of 1.5. But now I come and tell you, boss, I want you to increase this beta. Now okay, let us take it layer by layer. My view is that market will go up. My view is market will go up. So what would I want to do to this beta? Increase the beta or decrease the beta? Increase the beta. Right now, the beta of the portfolio is 1.5. And I'm telling you, boss, beta badao, do lao beta. What will you do? What are the choices you have? Huh? Okay. Sell lower beta shares and substitute it with higher beta. Okay. Then there's one more thing you could do if you have the money is buy some more shares of higher beta such that my overall beta happens to be 2. And there's one more technique. And that is the one we are going to study now. Because the first two is common sense. ये तो graduate भी बता देगा. Beta बढ़ाना है, sell the low ones, buy higher ones, or keep buying more shares. There's a third technique by which we can manipulate or adjust this beta, portfolio beta, by using futures. Because the two things which we discussed now are purely using stocks, right? Sell the lower beta shares, buy the higher beta shares, or keep buying more shares. But now we'll see, I can achieve the same thing by using futures. Now the thing is, sir, why complicate thing when we are able to achieve something by using stocks? Why use futures? Tell me why. जब मैं स्टॉक से वो चीज कर सकता हूं तो मैं फ्यूचर से वो चीज करने की कोशिश क्यों करूं? क्योंकि मेरे को फ्यूचर्स में करने के लिए पैसे कम लगते हैं. मार्जिन्स. Stock में I have to pump in the whole money. Yes, Muzammil, I have to pump in the whole money. Futures, I will achieve the same thing, but by lesser amount of money. Right? So the third technique is what we are going to learn. How to manipulate beta using futures. Okay? Chalo. Now, on April 1, This guy has got this portfolio comprising of 8 securities. They've given the market price, number of shares, and they've given, see this? They've given the beta value of each stock. The cost of investor for the cost of capital for the investor is 20% per annum, continuously compounded. The investor fears a fall in the price of the shares in the near future. Accordingly, acha, 1 minute before we discuss the problem. This guy has got a portfolio. Matlab, he's got a long position in shares. Now he fears that the market is going to go down. What are the things? What are the various things that he could do? What are the various things that he could do? Sell the shares. Chalo. Hedge kar sakta hai using Nifty futures. Okay, then Atharva substitute negative beta shares, but there's no negative beta shares with him. Atharva, but usi line pe thoda socho na. Okay, I'll tell you. I will reduce my beta. I will try to reduce the portfolio beta. Right? Okay. Now, chalo, the investor fears a fall in the prices of the shares in the near future. Accordingly, he approaches you for the advice to protect the interest of the portfolio. You can make the following, you can make use of the following information. The current Nifty value is 8,500. Nifty can be traded in units of 25 only. Futures for May are currently quoted at 8,700 and futures for June are quoted at 8,850. You are required to calculate 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, beta of his portfolio. 2, the theoretical value of future contract expiring in May and June. Remember, ye jo May and June ka future hai, this is the actual price which is quoting on the screen. But they are saying, forget the screen. You tell me what should be the value according to you of May and June. Given that they are, now this is E ka value. Okay. And 4, the number of Nifty contracts that he would have to sell if he desires to hedge until June in each of the following cases, total portfolio, etc., blah, blah, blah. We'll see that. I want you to do first this. Calculate the beta of his portfolio. Tell me, how will you do it? Yes, Atharva, bilkul. So calculate and let me know the beta of the portfolio. The market price into number of shares. That's the value. Use that weightage into the beta. Market price is given, number of shares is given. So market price into number of shares will give you the value. Use the value as the weights, multiply it with respective beta, and the sum total will give you the beta of the portfolio. Someone says 0.98. Native. Because says 1.102. तो अपना म्यूचुअल फंड हो रहा है ना? You remember mutual funds where we saw that we went into that mutual fund site and we saw the beta when we calculated the Sharpe and this thing, that beta, that was the beta of the portfolio. Yeah. That's how, this is how they would have calculated that. Okay, so Vishaka also says 1.102, so I'll presume this is right. Anyone not getting this, let me know. Can someone tell me what is the total of the value? 9 lakh 94 450. And weightage would be 11,760 divided by 994 450. 0.012. That is this divided by this. Beta is 0.59. So weighted beta would be the weight into the beta. और अगर वेटेज का कॉलम आपको नहीं बनाना है तो इफ यू डोंट वांट द वेटेज कॉलम देन व्हाट वुड यू डू वैल्यू इनटू बीटा
Divide by.
not total of beta value into beta divide by 994,450 yes 1.019 yes perfect I think जो 1.102 बता रहे हैं वो राउंड ऑफ कर लिया है कोई बात नहीं हो गया डन क्या हुआ कितना है 1.9 ना 1019 so 1019 some people just told me 102 they have rounded off to 3 decimals okay या तो 1019 लिख लो या 102 whatever okay now this is this part done the theoretical value of future contract expiring in May and June B theoretical May and June theoretical future price of May and June. You calculate and let me know, then I will write.
May and June का price क्या होगा?
What's the price of May futures? May futures, Milka says. Okay. Anyone else? Shaka says something else. Wow. Shaka and Milka, आपका आंसर टैली नहीं हो रहा है कितना है how much Eight seven 8758.825. मेका आपका ये कैसे आया?
सर वो क्वेश्चन में इंडेक्स इज ऑन अप्रैल 1 बट नए फ्यूचर्स ढूंढने के लिए हमें अप्रैल का पूरा लेना पड़ेगा प्लस ऑफ मे, तो
हाँ, तो 8500 प्लस 2 months interest, no?
यस 2 months इंटरेस्ट.
So that will be how much? Future is equals to 8500 into e raised to r is 20%. 0.2 n 2/12. यश में 8758 कैसे आया? 87, हाँ 8758, या 0.2 into 2 divided by 12, 8500 into e raised to 0.033. ठीक है, क्वेश्चन में e raised to 0.03 ये दिया है, 1.03045. Eight seven 58.825 आ रहा है. And June futures. Futures is equals to 8500 into e raised to 0.20 into 3/12. So 0.2 divided by 4 plus 8500 into e raised to 0.05. 0.05 is 1.05127. यश ये कैसे है? मेरा गलत है क्या? एक मिनट, क्या है 8500 into 1.05027? अच्छा 1.05127, 05127 है. Eight nine three five. On calci instead of 0.033. Okay, Meka, ठीक है. I mean, but yeah, Meka, अगर had the question not given the value of E.033, what you did was right. I mean, even now what you did is right, but if the question value is given in the question, then preferable to use the value given on the question. अच्छा, now, of course, इसमें अभी sometimes instead of giving this, they might give ऐसे भी देंगे. Instead of giving e raised to 0.05, they'll give e raised to minus 0.05. 1 divided by. Okay. बोलना बड़ा आसान है. अभी लास्ट वीक एक बंदे ने क्वेरी पूछा है मेरे से इसके ऊपर, और वो नवंबर में दे रहा है. सर ये कैसे, ये इसका फिर वैल्यू कैसे यूज करना है? I mean, someone asking 2 months before the exam, you want a raised to the power b, but the question is given a raised to the power minus b, then how to do it? ऐसे होते हैं लोग, क्या बोले. चलो, theoretical value. Then third is nothing to solve, it's only the values. Fourth, the number of Nifty contracts that he would have to sell if he desires to hedge until June. उसको जून तक प्रोटेक्शन चाहिए. That means which future is he going to sell? June futures. Now, what if he wants to, the number of Nifty contracts that he would need to sell if he wants to hedge his total portfolio? Calci में बताना तो, how many contracts would he need to sell if he wanted 100, if he wanted to protect his total portfolio? Hmm?
Five lots. 4.9.
कैसे किए? एक मिनट. एक्सपोजर वैल्यू, ऐसे ही किए ना. Exposure value, what was the total exposure value? 994,450. 994,450. Beta 1 point, I'm taking 02, जिनका 1.019 लियो, you can take 1.019. Answer will vary slightly. Okay, 1.102. Sorry. 1.102. Okay. Therefore, hedge value $994,450 into 1.102. $1095,884. ठीक है. Price of Nifty. अच्छा, therefore, number of Nifties to be sold. Number of June Nifties to be sold will be 1095,884 divided by what? 8935.75 or 8850? 8850, because remember that is the price at which it is trading in the market. ये तो तुम्हारे हिसाब से price है, right? So divided by 8850, and since he wants to protect 100% of the portfolio, so this will basically be into 100% or 1, whatever, right? So divided by 8850, कितना आता है? इसको 100% करोगे तो वही आएगा, divided by 8850. 123.83, right? Lot size is 25. Lot size is 25. Therefore, number of lots to be sold is 123.83 divided by 25, 4.95. or say 5 lots. Now, ये पूरा चीज, ये तो I mean, this was the first sum, so I did it like this. This whole thing, can I express it like this? Sorry. 994, 450 into 1.102 into 100% divided by 8850 into 25. You can write it like this, no? So why? Because in the 3 scenario पूछा है ना, तो अभी तीनों सिनेरियो में इतना लिखने से तो अच्छा we can calculate it like this only. Okay, so this was, he wants to protect total portfolio, that is 100%. Achha, is hedging 100% of your portfolio good? No, why not? No profit, no loss. So that means, when would you hedge it? You would only hedge it when you see turbulence ahead. And the moment you feel, it's like aircraft, no? When the pilot forecasts turbulence ahead, he says, "Kursi ki beti bandh lijiye." And the moment the turbulence goes off, he immediately says, "Was now you can open your seatbelt." Same thing. Because after the turbulence is over and you still carry the hedge, okay, then remember it is going to eat into your profits. Right? So hedging has to be used only in times when you feel turbulent. It is not, I mean, it's like crocin. You only have it when you have fever, not every day. Right? And after this sum, I'll tell you how we use futures for taking slightly bigger positions. I mean, we can use this very effectively. Chalo, what is scenario B? 50%. 50% of portfolio. That is 994450 into 1.102, but he only wants 50% of this whole thing upon 8850 into 25. How much? 2.48, or say 2 or 3 lots. Acha, which is better? 2 or 3? Understand, both are bad. Both are bad. But given a choice, take 3. क्योंकि ओवरहेज करने से भी फ्यूचर्स में अगर लॉस होता है तो तुम्हारा ज्यादा लॉस आएगा. Right? So both are not good, but given a choice, take 3. Now C is problem. C is, now understand, you can never hedge 120% of your portfolio. This is a very dumb question by the institute. You cannot hedge 120%. You can only hedge 100%. The rest 20% is speculative position in futures. पोर्टफोलियो 100 ग्राम का है तो हेज भी तो 100 ग्राम का ही होगा. तो हेज अगर आप 120 ग्राम का ले लेते हो तो 100 तो ठीक है, but that 20 is a speculative position in futures which you have taken. Okay, so you can't technically hedge 120% of the portfolio. But anyway, since the institute has asked, we solve it. 994450 into 1.102 into 120%. whole thing upon 8850 into 25. 5.95. नहीं, arbitrage. That you can do. Yeah. Since the theoretical price is not equal to the actual price, you might do the arbitrage. Okay, now couple of things. I told you how we use futures, especially when we take. Now, what I'm going to tell you is only valid when you're taking slightly bigger positions. See, now we all know that trading in market is 99% psychological and emotional. And that 1% is what you can attribute to that P ratio, book value, falana tikna. Baki 99% to it's psychological and emotional. Now, when you take a big position, and you would have seen it, agar aap log koi share market mein kiye ho, so you would see it that you see a share price continuously going up, and then you decide to buy it. But the problem is the moment you buy it starts going down. Right? Now, when you are dealing in 2 shares or 3 shares, you are not affected emotionally. But when you are dealing in 1 lakh shares and the price goes down even by 1 rupee, कोई भी आदमी ऊपर नीचे होने लगता है, चाहे वो कितना भी हाई नेटवर्थ इंडिविजुअल, लाख रुपया उसका टूट रहा है, राइट? और वो, एंड लेट्स से you have taken 20 shares, ठीक है, 1 रुपया टूटा, आप बोले 20 रुपया जाने दो, खड़े रहेंगे. But this confidence will not be visible in you when you take a position of 1 lakh shares. 1 lakh टूटा, अब क्या करें? And that period, right, is the most dangerous period in trading. Because that is where you are in an uncertain zone. It is like, something like when you join a new job, and trust me, all of you will come across this. When you join a new job, within the first 5 or 10 days, you'll meet a person within the organization who will say, "Yaar, you are a bright guy, अच्छे marks हैं, तुमको इस company के अलावा कोई मिला नहीं क्या?" And remember, you would have joined this company after letting go of 2 or 3 other companies. Which means, first place itself, your mind is in a doubt. Yeah, did I do the right thing by leaving those companies and taking this? And then this person comes and says, "Boss, you didn't get any other company." It's a different issue that particular person has been in the organization for 20 years. He is there, but wo aapko ungli karega. Because he sees you as a threat. Right? So he will say, "Boss, you could have gone to some other company. This company is bekar." Now, being a new person, you wouldn't have the guts to ask him, तुम कितने दिन से इस कंपनी में हो? अगर कंपनी बेकार है तो तुम निकले क्यों नहीं? वो तुम पूछ नहीं सकते, तुम नए हो. Then what happens is you start doubting your decision, and trust me, almost 40% of the resignations happen within the first 2 months. That uncertain zone. Same way in trading, when you buy the stock and it starts going down, you tend to panic. Right? And 90% of the people square off their position, book the losses and get out. And later at 3 o'clock, when they look at it, they say, "Sala, ye stock bad gaya hai yaar." Now, what we do to prevent this is, when you take a big position in shares, immediately I would sell the futures. I would sell the futures off. Right? Once that 10-15 minute panic period is over, and then I can definitely see a trend in the stock, right? Depending on which way the movement is, I will unwind one of these positions. Think of this. I bought the stock, sold the futures. Now, I don't know which side the market is going to go, right? But for that first 15 minutes, I will not panic now. क्यों अगर loss भी हुआ, ये profit है ना? Right? But 12 बजे के बाद, I definitely see one of the 2 things will happen. Stock is going up. Then what I'll do is I'll immediately book my losses in the futures and let the stock position run. Or the stock is going down, immediately square off the stock position and let the short future position run. And you know what? It's the same thing that you do every day at Churchgate. When you don't know which train is going to leave first, what do? You stand in the middle and see which one is going first. और जो गाड़ी पहले निकला उसमें घुस जाते हो. You're hedging yourself. Because if you get committed to one train, then the other train leaves first, you are stranded. So what do? You stand in between and then wait and watch which side goes first. The same thing we do. And this we use to prevent that emotional overthinking taking over. जो पहला 10-15 मिनट का होता है. That is where futures again becomes very helpful. Okay. Now, Acha, would you now, having said this, normally I teach something that would you hedge your position the moment you take, would you hedge the moment you take a position? Normally, no. Academically. Why? Because लेते समय ही अगर फट रही है, तो then why take it? When you're buying, you're thinking it'll go down, then why buy it in the first place? That's what the books tell you. But now I've told you I'll do that exactly the same thing. लेते ही मैं hedge कर दूंगा उसको. Because what the books don't teach you is the emotions. They only teach you the numbers. वो तो खाली नंबर बताएगा. पर स्टॉक ऊपर जाएगा तो तुम्हारा प्रॉफिट बनेगा. तो क्यों hedge करना चाहते हो? प्रॉफिट कम हो जाएगा. But they don't teach you about the psychological thing of it, ना? कि तुम पैनिक करोगे. 3 लाख शेयर, 4 लाख शेयर, उसमें 2 रुपया घट गया, मतलब you're 6 lakh down. कुछ नहीं. Day before yesterday, the market collapsed. Right? My portfolio went down by about 2.5 lakhs in one trading session. और वो 2.5 lakh वापस recover करने में कितना session लगेगा मालूम है? It will take at least 20-30 sessions. गिरते समय 1 दिन 2 घंटे में चले जाएगा. पर gain takes a lot of time. So when you're trading in big quantity and तुम सामने देख रहे हैं 6 लाख का loss है, and you know that to recover this 6 lakhs may take me another 15-20 days. That's when panic takes over. ठीक है? Now, anyway, चलो इस पे we'll discuss more when we do other sums. ये रहा. This sum is very similar to the earlier one, but with a slight change. 14. On Jan 1, 2013, an investor has a portfolio of 5 shares as given below. They've given 5 shares, price, number of shares, and they've given the beta. The cost of capital to the investor is 10.5. You are required to calculate. Now, this portion is very similar. Beta of his portfolio. Theoretical value of Nifty futures for Feb. ये Jan का है, Feb का futures चाहिए. The number of contracts of Nifty the investor needs to sell to get a full hedge until February for his portfolio. If the current value of the Nifty is 5,900 and Nifty futures have a minimum trade lot requirement of 200 units. Assume that the futures are trading at their fair value. What does this mean? What does this mean? Assume that the futures are trading at their fair value. The value that you will calculate is the same value at which the future is trading at. Right? In the earlier sum, they asked you to calculate, but they also said this trading at this. So therefore, the hedge we did was at the actual price traded. Right? Here they are saying you can consider both to be the same. And the number of future contracts the investor should trade if he desires to reduce the beta of his portfolio to 0.6. This is the extra portion. How to manipulate the beta of your portfolio. Now, can you calculate the first, second, and the third part? Then I will start solving. I'll give you 10 minutes time, then I'll start solving. एक मिनट पूरा सम चाहिए. एक मिनट, ये बहुत छूना है. आ रहा है? Just see, click and see whether ये parts में करना है. आ रहा है? हाँ. Plus says beta is 0.849. Yeah. Point 849. Point 848. Ye, I mean, if you want, you can do it the other way also. That is A, B, C, D, E, C, D, E. Uh, Quantity 5,000, 7,000, 8, 10, 2. Price 349.3, 480.5, 593.2, 734.7, 824.85. Okay, so value, this is quantity into price. Okay, you can have beta, then you can have total beta, which will be value into beta. ठीक है, इसका टोटल आपको आएगा लेट अस से XXX and इसका टोटल से YYY. Therefore, weighted beta can do this also. 0.84. 849. 3 ले लेते हैं, कोई 2 ले रहा है, ठीक है दिनेश, नो प्रॉब्लम. You want to take 2, you can take 2. You want to take 3, take 3. No. Theoretical value of Nifty futures for 2013. No. So, नहीं, इन रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट पे कंपाउंडिंग नहीं दिया है ना, लेकिन यहाँ पे दिया है ना, See, one of them they will give a hint, no? कि either word दिखेगा continuous compounding या फिर नीचे e का वैल्यू दे देगा, which means he's saying बस interest compounding continuous करना है, right? हाँ, क्वेश्चन में, हाँ तो या तो क्वेश्चन में सीसीआरआई देगा या फिर वो नीचे ई का वैल्यू दे देगा, तो ई का, हाँ यस, ई का वैल्यू दिया है मतलब वो कंटिन्यूअस कंपाउंडिंग की ही बात कर रहा है. ओके एक मिनट देखते हैं ना यार. बी theoretical value of Feb futures. एक मिनट, नहीं, January 1 Feb, that means you take it for 2 months. That is अभी का निफ्टी कितना है? 5,900 into e raised to 0.10, 10.5 था ना, 10.5, 0.105 into 2 by 12.
This is 0.017.
0 point, एक मिनट. अच्छा, number of days in a year to be treated as 365.
0.016.
58, sorry, 58 divided by 365. नहीं ना, you'll have to take the, एक दिन exclude करोगे ना, क्यों? 58 divided by 365, 0.1589 आ रहा है, 0.1585 दे रहा हो, right? So it doesn't matter, no, 0.15, 58 divided by 365 is 0.1589. चलो, इसको एक मिनट into 0.105. नहीं, एक मिनट, ये क्या दे रहा है ये? हाँ, क्या बोल रहे हो? 0.01, ये क्या वैल्यू दिया फिर? नहीं, पर वो तो नहीं कर सकते हैं ना अपन, we can't do that, no? ठीक है, चलो ना, let us एक मिनट. Okay, now see, I'll tell you what they could have done. अभी करके देखना पड़ेगा whether this is what they have done is the cost of capital to the investor is 10.5% per annum, right? और नीचे continuous compounding भी है. Now, if I gave you 10% per annum simple interest, is it equal to 10% compounded annual half yearly? 10% per annum simple interest, is it equal to 10% compounded half yearly per annum? No. What is the equivalent rate of, what is the equivalent rate if I say 10% simple interest and 10% per annum compounded half yearly? Then in terms of simple interest, what is my effective rate of interest? In terms of simple interest, कितना होगा? हाँ 10%. या 10%. See, 100 rupees if I invest at 10% per annum, compounded half yearly, so how much will it become at the end of 1 year? 110.25. So what is the effective simple interest rate which will equate this 10% per annum compounded? Okay. Now understand, between these two, which is more simple and which is more complex? Obviously, this is simple. This is complex, right? And between continuous compounding and normal compounding, which is simple and which is complex? Compounding is simple. Continuous compounding is more complex. Now they are saying that 10.5% per annum, obviously a compounded rate hoga. Okay. Uska, so this will be the more simpler one. उसका इक्विवेलेंट कंटिन्यूअस कंपाउंडिंग क्या हो? इसका इक्विवेलेंट कंटिन्यूअस कंपाउंडेड रेट क्या हो? What will be the equivalent continuous? See, abhi, let's say the bank quotes you 10% per annum interest compounded half yearly. तुम उसको जाके बोलते हो यार मेरे को सिंपल इंटरेस्ट में बताओ ना, so the bank will say 10.25. So 10.25 is the equivalent simple interest rate for a 10% compounded rate. Right? Now, just remember this. 10.25 is the simple interest rate for an equivalent 10% compounded rate. Now, remember, this is simple and this is advanced. Now, between continuous and normal compounding is simple and continuous compounding is advanced, right? That means this rate should be a bigger figure than the effective this rate. Huh? What should be the rate? अगर कोई आदमी बोलता है 10.5% कंपाउंडेड रेट है, नॉट कंटिन्यूअस कंपाउंडिंग, 10.5% कंपाउंडेड रेट है, और तुम उसको जाके बोलते हो यार don't tell me compounded rate, tell me a continuous compounded rate which is equivalent to 10.5% compounded. How will you find that? Problem समझ में आ रहा है? Right? The question is giving you a rate which is normal compounding. But then niche they are saying continuous compounding. Matlab the E is given. So that means you need to use the continuous compounded rate. Now, can you use 10? Can you just presume this is 10.5 is a continuous compounded? This is like saying question में 10.25 दिया है, and you're saying, okay, sir, we'll consider this 10.25 as compounding rate. It's different, no? So now the question is, they have given you this. Iska equivalent CCRI rate will be what? Now, first thing, will it be less than 10.5 or more than 10.5? Less than 10.5. No, because understand, in 10.5, the compounding is taking place only annually. But in a continuous compounding, it's going to take compounding every fraction of a second. Right? So what will be the rate of interest? How will you find that? See, the easiest way to find it is, let's say you invest 1 rupee for 1 year. Yoga. Now, this should be equal to 1 into E raised to R, right? Into 12 by 12. So I can right now ignore that 1. Now, you know what is E. Okay. So what will be the R? मैं fair presentation करूंगा, but understand the logic. What is the R? How will you find out what is R? Huh? Find. How will you find what is R? कैसे करना है? लॉग टेबल से फाइंड आउट करना है कि कैल्सी से फाइंड आउट करना है? How do you want to find this? Because you can't find it without any of these two methods, right? Either log or this. So which one? Log? तो log से आप लोग करो, मैं कैल्सी से निकालता हूं. You find out from log. You find out from log. Tanmay, exactly. Is it exact 10? अच्छा चलो 1.10 log of 1.105 is equals to r log e, right? So log of 1.105 कितना है? हाँ, फॉरगेट क्वेश्चन में दिया है, उधर बता मेरे. 0.99 0.0998 is equals to r into log e is 0.4343. देखो log e का वैल्यू क्या है? 2.7183. no? So what is the value of log of 2.7183? Huh? How 1.4343? What is the value of log 2.7183? Huh? 0.4343. Therefore, R 0.0998 divided by 0.4343. No, there is something wrong. This one? Great. 11 का 0 का 5.
0.0412 plus 0.0019, which is 0.0433.
0.04? R equals to 0.0997 or R equals to 9.97. अभी भी बोल रहा हूं, we have still not started options. I am still having the patience to solve this. Options आते समय I will not be having the patience to solve this. मैं solve करते निकल जाऊंगा, आप log table practice नहीं करोगे, बस सोचते रहो ये नंबर कैसे आता रहा है. अभी भी टाइम है. Don't think that ये log को आप ऑप्शन में छोड़ के निकल पाओगे, नहीं पाओगे. So better solve this. एक मिनट. This इसका नोट दे देंगे अपन. 0.097 into 58 by 365. We'll give a note for this. 0.097 into 58 divided by 365. Trading has started. 1 minute, रुको. Trading has started. Opening bell. Here, 2202. 2202. And you purchased it at 2186. You would have sold it now. Making a profit of how much? Huh? 16. Per Nifty. Per Nifty into 50. 800. Now you'll say, sir, क्या चिंदी चोरी है? Right? What's your ROI? What's your ROI? तुमने ₹1,00,000 ब्लॉक किया होगा, है ना? Not even for an hour. You have not even blocked it for an hour, right? What's your ROI? कैसे निकालोगे ROI? 800 divided by 1 lakh, roughly that's your margin. Huh? Into 100. Now, मैं hourly गिन ही नहीं रहा हूं. This is a return per day into 365. 92%. और बैंक में आपको 7% मिलता है. Don't look at it at 800 rupees. Look at the ROI. ₹1,00,000 बैंक में डालते तो पूरा साल में जितना मिलेगा यहाँ, I mean proportionately in terms of percentage, you are doing what, 30 times this. Okay, because amount wise देखोगे, and these days, right, anyways the brokerages charged are very low. And in fact, ये तो time lag के साथ है. If I go into the live screen, which I'll possibly do in the next lecture or whenever, ये देखो 2209. ये तो time lag के साथ है. What is the correct way to predict market will go up? There is no, Atharv, there is no correct way. It's all gut feel. There is no correct way. There is no mathematics. It's all gut feel. Anyways, chalo. Ye, we'll give the note for interest. I'll solve it. 0.097 into 58 divided by 365. That is 0.01541. Now, what is the value they have given here? 0.015858 दिया है. So we can take that value itself. .058 तक तो वैलिड ही है अपना, ठीक है. 1.01598. So 5,900 into 1.01598. 5994.28. Okay. Now, note. The rate of interest of 10.5% is not mentioned as a CCRI. Hence, is taken as normal compounding, normal compounded rate of interest. But since the question gives the value of E we need to use continuously compounded rate of interest. Therefore, we find the equivalent continuously compounded rate of interest, which corresponds to 10.5% normal compounding. That is 1 into 1.105 is equals to 1 into e raised to r n. क्या वैल्यू बताया था 0.0433 natural log ln 1.005 वो अलग चीज है नेचुरल लॉग वो अपन अभी तक किए नहीं है नॉट डन हाँ yes natural log is to the base e I mean इसको मैं ऐसा भी कर सकता था ना like r इस स्टेप को r equals to log 1.105 upon log e is to the base 10 right इसको natural log में convert करना है तो I convert it as log e to the base 1.105 हमने जब लॉग टेबल डिस्कस किया था वी डिस्कस चेंज ऑफ बेस हाँ नहीं how do you do change of because see normal log is to the base 10 right whereas natural log is to the base e and normal log table books you will not find the value of natural logs you will only find the value of log to the base 10 right now the question is if you have to find the value of a natural log which is to the base e using the normal log table how do you do it you will have to convert this natural log into a normal log that is base 10 now that means you have to do what is called as a change of base right and how do you do a change of base log m to the base a can be written as log m upon log a. Now both of them become to the base 10, right? Now look at this. Log 1.105, this is log m, log e, a, log m upon log a. If I want to write it as a other way around, can I write it as log m to the base a? Right? Which means, can I write it as log 1.105 to the base e? This is nothing but natural log of 1.105. Right? And question में उसका value दे दिया है 0.0998. That is R equals to 0.0998, which is what we also derived, no? Natural log, I'll go into details when we do Black-Scholes. Right now, I didn't use that natural log because we haven't done this change of base so far. Right? But Black-Scholes model uses only natural log. It does not use the normal log. Right? So there we'll have to do all this. Right now, you just take it by this method. Huh? Don't get into the change of base right now. When I teach options, ये लिखाऊंगा, फिर 2-3 examples solve करेंगे. Okay, what else have they asked? Theoretical value, this. The number of Nifty contracts the investor needs to sell to get a full hedge until February if the current value of Nifty is 5,900 and Nifty futures. Assume that trade. Okay, so 3. Exposure value. How much was the exposure value? That is this portion. कितना था? 1 crore 54,000 860 beta 0.849. Therefore, hedge value exposure value into beta, that is 1 crore 88 54 860 into 0.849. How much is it?
1,69,777.
Acha, sorry, 60 lakhs. 60 lakhs. Okay. And future price. we arrived at is was 5994.28. Therefore, number of lots to be sold will be 160076 upon 5994.28 और इसी स्टेप में ये भी कर दूं लॉट साइज क्या है 200 सो इंटू 200 ये कितना 13.3 किसका माइक ऑन है हेलो someone's mic is on म्यूट भी नहीं होता say 13 or 14 contracts. Now, the number of future contracts the investor should trade if he desires to reduce the beta of his portfolio to 0.6. कितना futures contract उसको बेचना है so that the portfolio beta becomes 0.6. How will you find that out? See, how did you find out number of future contracts to be sold? Exposure value into beta, right? So right now we said that exposure value into the beta of 0.85, itna futures usko bechna hai. But we are saying no. So there are two ways of handling this. One is you find the number of future contracts that he should actually sell such that the portfolio beta is 0.6. Right? Now the difference between the 13.35 and the new number which you arrive will be the number of contracts that he will have to sell. Right? Or alternatively, can we do this? See, number of future contracts to be sold to bring the portfolio beta down to 0.6. Can we do it like this? 188, 54, 860. 188, 54, 860. Right? Into 0.84 कितना आया था 9 minus 0.60 divided by 84 कितना था सॉरी 5994.28 into 200 कितना लॉट साइज 225 है 200 है ना ये कितना आता है ये हाँ 3.92 और से 4 lots, या फिर ऑल्टरनेटिवली कैसे कर सकते थे, number of lots to be sold if beta is 0.6. You could have said 184, 188, 54, 860 into 0.6 exposure value into beta upon 5994.28 into 200. ये कितना आएगा 9 और आपके पास एग्जिस्टिंग कितने लॉट्स आपने लिया था, तो या तो 13 माइनस 9 करो 4, या फिर 14 माइनस 10. I mean, if you are rounding this off to 14, then round this off to 10. 4 contracts. Right? So number of contracts to be sold या फिर एग्जैक्ट नंबर से लो, क्या है 13.35 माइनस 9.43, थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस आएगा इसमें. 13.35 माइनस 9.43, 3.92 वही है, और से 4 lots. क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई मतलब किस चीज को
13 कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स के लिए बीटा 0.849 था.
सेम ही आ रहा है ना, मतलब यही कर रहे हो ना तुम भी तो यही कर रहे हो. हो गया डन. Now let's before let's check this. Nah, this is ridiculous. The speed is. So, 2186. And I don't know who said, Atharva said or Vijay said, बोला ना कि ऑल टाइम हाई है लेकिन अंडर करंट एकदम बुलिश है, तो ये तो होना ही था. एंड द थिंग इज समवन माइट से लेकिन सर दोपहर को तो गिर जाएगा. गिरने दो ना, मैं तो अभी काट के निकल जाऊंगा. फॉर मी दिस इज व्हाट इज इम्पोर्टेंट. हाँ तुम नहीं समवन सेड नो कि सर खुलेगा हाई लेकिन बाद में फिर टूटने दो. मेरा मेरा दिन का टारगेट हो गया. I mean, how much return do you want to generate? More than 300% a day, right? Sure. And taking positions in Nifty futures is relatively easy than taking position in stock futures, because Nifty may you've got the mini Nifty also. That's 25 color. Okay. So there the future, the margin requirements will not be very high. But stock futures is not like that. Stock futures, there are the lot size are 1,750 shares. So I mean, think of ITC shares. उसका शायद lot 1,000 का है, और the market price is 483, 483 or 500. Just imagine the margin you'll have to give on one position. 500 into 1,000 और उसका 10%. That is the amount of margin you'll have to give. Which is why I said ये जो the strategy of, you know, when you buy stock you sell the futures to temporarily hedge it, right? That is worth doing only when your position is big. Otherwise, I mean, you buy 2 shares of ITC, which you can. In the cash segment, you can buy 2 shares of ITC. But the problem is to hedge that in the futures, you can't sell 2 ITC. You know, you'll have to sell 1,000, which means you'll have to buy 1,000 there. Right? Then the amount of capital required. उधर 1,000 शेयर का पूरा डिलीवरी लेना पड़ेगा आपको, एंड इधर यू हैव टू सेल मार्जिन देना पड़ेगा. मतलब दोनों तरफ घर से पैसा जाएगा initially, and small money will not go, big money will go, right? So this strategy is viable only when you are taking slightly bigger positions, not for smaller ones. Okay. Chalo. 15 details about portfolio of shares of an investor. Security ABC, number of shares given in lakhs, price per share is given, beta is given. The investor thinks that the risk of the portfolio is very high. Now forget about the rest of the question. When you think that the portfolio is very risky, what will you try to do to the beta? Reduce the beta. If you think your portfolio, because remember, higher the beta, higher the risk. I mean, if it moves in your favor, well and good, but it could move against you also, no? So always remember this at the back of the mind. Higher the beta, higher the risk. Okay. The investor thinks that the risk of the portfolio is very high and wants to reduce the portfolio beta to 0.91. He is considering 2 below mentioned alternative strategies. ये देखा हमने पिछले बार डिस्कस किया था ना. What did we discuss? There are multiple things I could do. 1, sell the shares. 2, I could use futures to reduce my portfolio, this thing, right? In the last sum, what did we use? Futures to manipulate my beta. Here you are saying, nay, you dispose of a part of the existing portfolio to acquire risk-free securities, or take appropriate positions on Nifty futures which are currently trading at 8125, and each Nifty point is worth 200 lot. You are required to determine portfolio beta, the value of risk-free securities to be acquired, the number of shares of each company to be disposed of, the number of Nifty contracts to be bought and sold, and the value of the portfolio beta for 2% rise in Nifty. चलो ये तो करेंगे, पहले एक काम करो, portfolio beta निकालो. ये find the portfolio beta. I'll just be back in a minute. So, कितना है? 1.3. Okay. कितना 1.3. Now, what are they asking? The value of risk-free securities to be acquired. कैसे? Value of risk-free securities to be acquired. Now, बड़ा बेसिक सा चीज है, उसको बीटा कितना करना है? 0.91. तो उसके लिए उसको कितना माल बेचना पड़ेगा कि खरीदना पड़ेगा? बेचना पड़ेगा ना. कितना माल बेचना पड़ेगा? हाउ मच डज ही नीड टू सेल टू ब्रिंग हिज 1000? 30%. To beta to be reduced to 0.91. बोलो क्या के? 1.3. 1.3 1.3 minus 0.91 divided by 1 point. कितना परसेंट आया? That is portfolio to be reduced by 30%. That is value of shares to be disposed. Will be 30% of टोटल कितना है? ये वैल्यू 5000 था। ₹5,000 है ना? अच्छा, ये चीज को हम दूसरे तरीके से भी कर सकते हैं, ऑल्टरनेटिवली। आई मीन, आई एम जस्ट शोइंग यू दिस थिंग ना। लेट अस से आपका रिस्क फ्री इन्वेस्टमेंट जो करना है, राइट, लेट दैट बी, एक मिनट मैं यहीं पे कर देता हूं। इसको वापस कंटिन्यू करेंगे, बट ऑल्टरनेटिवली let the proportion of risk-free securities be P, right? तो इसका मतलब 0.91 जो इसको पोर्टफोलियो बीटा चाहिए, दैट शुड बी 0 इंटू P, क्योंकि रिस्क फ्री सिक्योरिटीज का तो बीटा 0 होता है, राइट? प्लस उसका कितना बीटा है? 1.3 इंटू 1 माइनस पी, बाकी का 1.3 है ना। आपका पोर्टफोलियो में रिस्क फ्री सिक्योरिटीज आप निकाल दोगे, बैलेंस बचेगा आपका इक्विटी का, ठीक है? और ये दोनों का मिला के आपका 0.91 चाहिए। दैट मींस 0.91 मस्ट बी इक्वल टू 0 इंटू पी प्लस 1 माइनस पी, क्योंकि अभी इतना सिक्योरिटीज तो आप बेच के जीसेक में डाइवर्ट कर दिया ना पी का। सी लेट द प्रोपोर्शन ऑफ रिस्क फ्री सिक्योरिटीज बी पी, दैट मींस देयरफॉर इक्विटी विल बी 1 माइनस पी, राइट? और 1 माइनस पी का आपका 1.3 का है इक्विटी का। सो दोनों मिला के आपको 0.91 चाहिए। तो ये अगर आप सॉल्व करोगे, देखो तो कितना आता है। पॉइंट 0.39 आ रहा है। नहीं, ये 1. 1 मिनट, हाँ 0.3 है ना यार, 0.3 विच इज सेम 30%। अच्छा, फिर व्हाट दे, नाउ दैट यू नो that you have to dispose 1500 lakhs worth of shares, but the question is कौन सा? Now obviously we'll dispose in the same proportion as they are in the portfolio, so that the diversified nature of my portfolio is still retained, right? So what is the weightage? 3 number of shares of each company to be disposed of. सिक्योरिटी ए बी सी, अच्छा इनका वैल्यू कितना आया था बताना? वैल्यू 1500, 3500, Therefore, weights. Weights कितना है? 5,000. 0.3, 0.6, 0.1. Therefore, value sold will be 1500 का 0.3, 450, 1500 का 0.6, 900 and 1500 का 0.1, 150. अच्छा, प्राइस, ये तो वैल्यू हुआ ना, प्राइस ऑफ द शेयर 500, 750, 250. ये सारे लैक्स हैं. क्या हुआ? हाँ, बोल 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 बोल. हाँ, तीनों में तुमको टोटल तो 1500 बेचना है. अच्छा, ठीक है. Price is 250. Therefore, number of shares to be sold. $450 lakhs upon 500. 0.90 lakhs. 750. Sorry. $900 lakhs upon 750. 1.2 lakhs and 150 lakhs divided by 250. 0.6 lakhs. फिर क्या पूछा है? अच्छा, चलो अभी टाइम हो गया है. ये दो पेंडिंग रखते हैं. विल डू इट इन द नेक्स्ट लेक्चर. इसमें कुछ और करना भी है. MP 215. हाँ अथर्व बोल. हाँ, अरे अथर्व बोल ना. अनम्यूट नहीं हो रहा है. चल बोल.
सर ये हेज करके हमें नो प्रॉफिट नो लॉस होता है ना?
हाँ, हेज किया तो हाँ.
हाँ सर, तो फिर हम ये जो इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं, जो भी
किसमें?
14th क्वेश्चन या 15th क्वेश्चन जो दिख रहे हैं, उसमें हमने इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है, तो इन्वेस्टमेंट करके हमें रिटर्न्स चाहिए बराबर.
एक मिनट एक मिनट एक मिनट. हमने यहाँ पे द वैल्यू ऑफ रिस्क फ्री, नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स ऑफ ईच कंपनी टू बी डिस्पोज्ड ऑफ, यहां तक तो हमने कुछ, वी हैव नॉट सोल्ड एनी
मतलब
निफ्टी.
मैं 14th क्वेश्चन के बारे में अगर बात करूँ तो
हाँ,
अगर 14th क्वेश्चन के बारे में है,
हाँ, कि अगर उसको हेज करना है तो क्या करना है, हाँ।
नहीं हम हेज कर रहे हैं, तो हेज का मतलब नो प्रॉफिट नो
नहीं
लॉस।
नहीं, हम हेज कर रहे हैं मतलब क्वेश्चन में क्या पूछा था, जरा बताना तो।
नहीं क्वेश्चन में तो हेज करना ही पूछा था।
हेज करना ही पूछा था ना।
हाँ
ठीक है, तो हमने हेज किया, हाँ बोलो।
सर, मैं पूछ रहा हूँ कि प्रैक्टिकली ऐसा क्यों करते हैं हेज, अगर इन्वेस्टर
एक मिनट एक मिनट, प्रैक्टिकली तुम छतरी लेके क्यों घर से निकलते हो?
भीगने से
बारिश
बचते हैं।
होगा तो भीगने से बचाने के लिए ना।
हाँ हाँ।
पर तुम बोलोगे सर बारिश नहीं हुआ तो छतरी बेकार में लेके गया।
हम्म।
पर बारिश हुआ तो।
ओके।
सेम वे, अगर पोर्टफोलियो में लॉस, सी, अगर तुमको लगता है कि तुम्हारा पोर्टफोलियो में लॉस होने का चांसेस है, मार्केट आगे जाके टर्बुलेंट हो सकता है
हम्म।
टेम्पररीली,
ओके।
तो तुम अपने आप को प्रोटेक्ट कर लो।
ओके।
आई मीन तुम दूसरा चीज बोल सकते हो कि सर हम स्टॉक ही बेच देंगे ना रहेगी बांस ना बजेगी बांसुरी।
शायद फिर तभी लॉस बुक करना पड़ेगा ना।
नहीं नहीं, मोर देन लॉस बुक करना पड़ा। अगर मार्केट नीचे नहीं गिरा और मार्केट सर 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 करके ऊपर भागता चला गया, तेरे हाथ से तो स्टॉक निकल गया।
हाँ। ओके।
यहां क्या है, तुम स्टॉक रखे हो लेकिन प्रोटेक्ट करके रखे हो।
तो ऐसा टेम्पररी हेज हम कर सकते हैं।
हेजिंग हमेशा टेम्पररी होता है।
ओके।
हेजिंग परमानेंट करके कोई फायदा नहीं है। सेम वे, 365 days you don't carry an umbrella.
हाँ। ओके। गॉट इट।
Yeah, yeah.
थैंक यू।
Okay.
I had a doubt in corporate.
Corporate valuation. Buy so many.